giving you a review for One Piece chapter 101. And as far as setup chapters goes, I really appreciated this one because you can see Oda is not only sticking to the laws of his universe, he's not breaking the rules. That's some shit that I had a problem with some other mangas. I'll get to that maybe later on in the review if I still feel like kind of going that way with it. But the other thing is he's actually building on the foundation that he's laid for the One Piece universe. And I really appreciated this one scene where Luffy demonstrates a lot of character and you see the leadership qualities come out in him, and you see him come out a lot in this chapter. It's when he uses the Gum Gum balloon and he basically tries to knock the ship back on course, and right away everyone knows if he goes into the water, Luffy's dead, basically, especially given the circumstances where you got the monsters in the calm sea and they're so close to the Grand Line, they got to sail up the mountain. And just Luffy's quick thinking, he's like, third time I'm not falling in the water. I guess this would be the fourth time, but third time since he's been on this journey. And the thing about all of that is I appreciate it because you see Luffy's quick thinking. Zoro automatically says, give me your hand, Luffy, and Luffy stretching out for him. Really nice. You just see the chemistry and camaraderie with the group. But the other thing of what I was talking about, how Oda's sticking to his stuff and then he's building on it, is right away we see just how valuable Nami is as a navigator, because the chapter opens up with Nami kind of, you know, scolding Luffy a little bit, saying like, look Luffy, I don't want your spot, you know, you can hang over on the side of the ship if you want to, which is crazy because Luffy's right there on the edge. But again, you know, as one of you guys pointed out, you know, Luffy doing careless things, it's just something I have to get used to because it's all the more exciting to see how he gets out of these different situations. And there was no sense of danger in this chapter, at least in this part. So I didn't really have a problem with it. But, you know, Sanji and Luffy both say something like, she is amazing. You know, the way that Nami is not only picking up on the fact that they've left the storm, but also the fact that she's reading the charts and she's reading into situations and she's taking the little bit of information she's got from the map that they sold from Buggy and she's putting two and two together. Nami's probably very easily the most valuable member of the crew, and I just love how Oda threw that in there. And while he did have the character say it, the thing about this is it's so greatly written that we as readers can draw into the importance of Nami, and it just really goes to show you that you don't have to be the strongest or the fastest in order to contribute to a group. You have to be the most charismatic, like a guy like Usopp. And I say charismatic because, you know, again, when he was, you know, saying all those stories and stuff, to be able to captivate people and hold their attention like he held Kaya's and Onion and Pepper, and I can't remember the other kid. But in order to do that, you know, you have to have some charisma. You know, that's what great politicians are made out of. And when you just look at all this, it sends a good message. That's why I like One Piece, because there's a little something for everyone. And there's this one scene in particular where Nami is breaking down these specifics on how everything's going. And right here, when she gets ready to explain it, you know, Zoro's like, well, can't we just sail south and go in from anywhere? And that's actually very smart. But, you know, Luffy, the comedy's there, and it was needed in this chapter because this was a very complex and yet very simple explanation that Nami's giving. But Luffy's saying, no way, it feel wrong if we just go through the entrance, and then Nami just knocks the hell out of him. And right there, like, I like that, man. Like, I know some of you guys say that, you know, Nami's a bitch because she tends to, you know, hit Luffy, well, not Luffy, but hit people and go off for different reasons. This is a shonen. You know, I keep saying this a lot, man. Like, the further you go back in shonens, the more common this is. It's a comedic, it's there for comedy reasons. It's not like, oh, this is abuse and all that stuff. That's more of, at least I believe, that's more of this Western culture coming in, where we look at that and we say, oh, that's wrong. It's for comedic reasons. You know, just take it for what it's worth. It's nothing bad. I mean, Kenshin and Karu ended up together, and Karu was throwing swords at Kenshin and putting him in his face. It's just for comedy. And right there, like, I'm the type, if I would have saw that animated, I probably would have laughed. I enjoyed it. But this right here, I just love this sequence of events because that's when Nami's like, oh, we're no longer in the eye of the storm. You guys, I mean, we're no longer in the storm. We're in the eye of it. You guys gotta get the rows and just start rowing. And nobody's taking her seriously at first. And I think that's two things. I think one is because she's surrounded by so much testosterone, because you have Luffy, a guy who, granted, and like I said, my respect for him went up because you have a guy like Luffy who is already the captain, is very strong-willed. You have a guy like Zoro who's pretty laid back and kind of just goes with the flow in terms of going along with what Luffy says. You have Sanji who's only thinking about getting inside of some sugar walls, particularly Nami's, man. Like, he thinking about cream pieing all day. And then you got Usopp, the guy who, he's a little bit of a nut, obviously a coward, but there's leadership qualities there. So it's a lot to go. And, you know, I'm really feeling like Nami is supposed to be there for two reasons, outside of being a navigator, to kind of be that normal person in the group that the reader can identify with. But because she's normal, she's kind of like the glue that kind of keeps everybody there, or at least keeps the different personalities kind of somewhat in check. Like, she's got an outrageous personality herself, but when you think about it, outside of her chart making abilities, there's nothing super amazing like her. She doesn't have this super powerful kick like Sanji. She's not this master swordsman with crazy strength like Zoro. She doesn't have a devil fruit like Luffy, and she doesn't have these crazy shooting stars that Usopp has. You know, she's just Nami, and that's why the character works. But so I liked how everyone was like, oh, we're good. And then you see these different monsters show up, and Luffy trips me out, man, because Luffy was like, oh, we're having an earthquake. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You're at sea. And that's pointed out to him. It's just right there, you know, like, Oda's mixing in so much comedy in this chapter. Like I said, it's very greatly appreciated. But the other thing is when you see these different monsters to show up, you know, right here, you know, I'm really liking this one right here, man. He's got like a little afro going on, man. Look like that monster right there just like got in the water and his hair kind of curled up. And you see the Mary is on top of this one. Like these are just some very beautiful designs. You know, at the same time, I like the attention to detail in the eyes where they're kind of just larger in life. You see a little smirk on this one. I mean, very, very, very entertaining. But like I said, you get this one shot where, you know, Luffy's like, everybody hold on. And everybody's like, oh, we got to start rowing. And you see guys getting ready to fall. And that's when Usopp goes overboard. And right there, Luffy doesn't hesitate to try and save Usopp. I really, really, really enjoyed that. And just from the comedic aspect of it, I thought that it was pretty funny, the fact that Usopp, the biggest coward, and to me, the funniest character on the crew, is the one who goes overboard. I cannot wait to see this animated, man. But the other thing on this is you know, after Luffy gets Usopp, and everybody obviously starts rowing because they're like, oh shit, Nami was right. We can't do this anymore. That's when Nami fully breaks down what's getting ready to happen. And you guys told me the Grand Line was going to be all over the place in terms of the power scalings and the unpredictable nature of it. And right away, like, if this was an intro, this is really good right here. This is really grabbing my attention. But the other thing, like I said right here, when Nami's talking, she says, okay, that's it. The sea's currents. If powerful currents from all four seas converged on that mountain, the waters would rush up the sides through the canals and collide at the top and flow out into the Grand Line. The ship is already riding the current, so all we have to do is steer. Reverse Mountain is in a winter island, so the sea currents collide with it. The upper waters are forced back. If the ship misses the canal, it breaks up and swallows and is swallowed by the sea. Get it? And right there, Luffy, it goes over his head, but it's just like that's kind of what happened. They got off track and they ended up in the calm belt. And Luffy, again, he's thinking Mystery Mountain, but right there, like Luffy, not Luffy, Nami, when she's explaining it, you see the different seas. You see the East Blue, and you have the Calm Belt, and I'm guessing that one right there is the Grand Line. Just all that right there, this was very, very well done. And the way Oda kind of inserted those graphs, I really appreciated this a lot more than... And Itachi's one of my favorite Naruto characters, but when Itachi was using his genjutsu on Kabuto and he was having to explain just the different steps, it was just like, what the fuck? Like, I caught it, but I had to read that shit over and over. You know, here Oda just got right to it. He put it in a very simple way. And to have Luffy not understand the simple explanation Nami gave was absolutely brilliant. You know, like, normally I can't stand the idiot. And I'm not calling Luffy an idiot, I'm talking about the idiot person in the group. You know, normally I can't stand it, especially when it's just something really, really obvious, because I feel like that's very cliche, it's overdone. It works in this case. Now, I'm guessing it's more so because there's been 100 chapters of build-up where you're getting a sense of familiarity with these characters, and the chemistry's just getting stronger as the story progresses. I can really see why this is a 800 plus chapter series. I mean, this is really good, and the fact that it's run that long. But this was my thing, though. You know, Luffy's courage, I talked about it, but this is right after, you know, Sanji and Usopp are trying to get the steering and everything done. Luffy doesn't hesitate, and if you look, you know, Zoro is automatically just watching because he knows that Luffy's gonna do something crazy. And that's why I said, that's when he just knocks the ship back where it needs to go. And just the quick thinking. Zoro reaches out and Luffy's stretching his arm to catch, no, not to catch him, but to be caught. I mean, this is really, really good, man. I really, really appreciate it. And it just makes the payoff for that last panel where they're all like, oh, we're at the Grand Line. Just to see that and to know that Luffy sacrificed himself or put his body on the line, if you will, to make sure that they get to the Grand Line, knowing that they are completely outclassed on top of that. It was just really good, man. Really, really good. So overall, this is like for a setup chapter, man. Normally setups are, you know, hit or miss. Not so much in One Piece, but just in general. But normally they're hit or miss. I really enjoyed this chapter, guys. My chapter question for you is going to be, what were your thoughts about Luffy's actions throughout this chapter? Were you as impressed with his quick thinking and how quickly he took charge at different points during this chapter? Let me know in the comment section below. But that's it for this review. If you liked anything I had to say, as always, comment, rate, subscribe, share. I'll greatly appreciate it. That's it. Thanks for watching Kryptonian saying. Have an awesome